Yeah, this should go well. Good morning, afternoon, whenever it is. This is your Beast Mastery walkthrough for. I'm Lazy Eye. I'm from Fear Itself on Zingermarsh. Just gonna do a quick walkthrough of your Beast Mastery Hunter for you today. Get you started, let you know what you're looking at. I've already done one of these for survival, but people play different things. And both are very, very fun to play right now. Anyway, we're gonna start with stats. Agility is, as always, number 1. Every point of agility gives you 2 attack power. Attack power is happy. It makes you hit things harder if, you know, the name confuses you for some reason, which it shouldn't. Next comes your hit and your expertise. You want to get them as close to 7.5 as possible. 7.5% is hit capped. That means you don't miss. I mean, I'm barely under. Part of the game, though, is getting as close without going over, because once you start going over, you are basically wasting stats you could put somewhere else. Next is your crit chance. Crit is your number 1 secondary stat after those. You want crit. Crit, 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 crit. Holy crit. That's what you want to do. Next on the totem pole is your haste. And then finally is mastery. Those are your 3 things you want to build up. Ooh, someone's fighting now. Let's go see if we can join while I talk to you. Anyway. Your Beast Mastery Hunter is very dependent on your pet. Right now I've got my Spirit Beast, Lokronakak Striker out. Picked him up in Wrath, kind of sniped him off a Blood Elf Hunter. That still makes me smile to this day. Not there's anything wrong with playing Horde. Are we sure there's anything right with it? Okay, I do have a couple of Hordes, and I do enjoy it occasionally. But I do have to say, I have been Alliance for years. I still love my Alliance, and, you know, some people have to be right, some people have to be wrong. I'm not going to tell you who is who, necessarily. You can figure it out for yourself. If it's Alliance tagging this, I'm just going to tag off the side. If it's Horde, we'll see what happens. And am I going to walk in as he's dead again, which has happened almost every time I've done this. Oh. Someone is trying to solo him. Let's get out of here, because soloing this guy, not wise. That's fun, though. I think he's might be trolling people to come to, and that's exactly what I did. Okay. Back to the game. As far as these go, I use post haste. I like being able to throw out a quick disengage and get myself out movement impairing effects. It can be helpful, especially in raid if you get rooted by something. Silencing shot. Now, silencing shot is going away next patch 5.4, which, you know, I'm doing this video right now, which is kind of silly since that is probably going to drop within the next month and a half. However, you know, I can always update if I need to. But it's going to be a different shot. I can't remember what it's called, but it's essentially the same thing. It's like retaliating shot or... Anyway, it's going to silence people for 3 seconds that are spellcasting. It might be specifically to you. We'll see. I'm probably going to switch to intimidation, because if you stun somebody, it actually messes up their casting as well, funny enough. So, I mean, you can use that as a silence as well in some situations, unless they can't be stunned, in which case you're just kind of foobarred. Believe silencing shot is going to go to just marksman, I'd like to say. I could be wrong on that. Aspect of the Ironhawk, I prefer mitigation over healing. This will heal you slowly just as you hang out with your pet. This just reduces damage, and in a raid situation, you're not going to be sitting around outside the fight regenerating health as much as you are going to be trying to mitigate damage. This is where I disagree with Icy Veins at the moment. They prefer Dire Beast for Beast Mastery spec. I prefer Thrill the Hunt, and a big part of that right now is because the 4-piece bonus with my Arcane Shot multi-shot will trigger lightning arrows at the target. It's a nice little bonus to damage. I mean, if you're not, you still can get the Thunderhawk as your steady shot, which is another bonus of damage. But if I'm doing more arcane shots, I'm doing more lightning shots. It's the feel I like better. I could be wrong. I possibly am. But Murder of Crows, which is the best darn animation out of any of the Hunter moves, in my opinion. That's the one that Icy Veins does recommend. I've run with Link's Rush as well. Both are fun. Yes, the cooldowns differ. Haven't played with Blink Strikes yet. And like everybody and their dog, I like my Glaive Toss. I know a few people have done Power Shot. They can be situational on these, but I prefer my Glaive Toss. Right now I've got Glyph of Liberation up. I like being able to disengage and get a little bit of life back. Once again, that can be helpful in a tough situation. 5% doesn't seem like a lot, but it might be enough in the right situation to make a difference. Endless Wrath I put on because my pet keeps dying on a couple of raid situations when Growl is off. I'm hoping this will help, because if he's pulling aggro, he's most likely doing it when he's enraged and doing a little bit more damage. So that's why I've chosen that, to see if it makes a difference. I, once again, could be wrong. We'll see. An Animal Bond, that's just good sense. If you're getting 10% more healing to you and your pet, it just makes life easier in raid, and happy healers make it easy, happier raid. Minor Glyphs don't mean a thing on a hunter. I'm sorry. Like every other class, just put whatever looks pretty to you. Now, one thing I will mention that I really dig right now is my stats for Beast Mastery are the same ones I need for Survival, so I can go back and forth between the specs without having to reforge or regem at all. Which means if I need a little more AoE POW, I can flip to Survival, put up Serpent Stings when I AoE everything. Then I can go back to Beast Mastery, which I feel does better single target damage. The one note with Beast Mastery you do need to keep in mind, about 50% of your damage is your pet. Your pet is your Achilles heel. If that dies in the middle of a raid, you will suddenly find yourself doing about half the damage you were previously, and that is no bueno. Pet dies and you're suddenly a lot less effective. At the same time, you know, if you're moving around a lot and that, and your pet is sticking on the target and you're just not quite shooting off shots like you'd like to, it can mean you're doing more DPS than you would in something like Survival or Marksman, which, let's be honest, at this point, there's like 5 people running Marksman right now, and that's because they're too stubborn to change. I wish Marksman would come back. I like the feeling of Marksman, but right now it is just not competing like the other 2 specs. Yeah, let's pick up a couple dailies while I talk to you. Or a daily while I talk to you. Ooh. Anyway, Growl is on, as it should be. When we talk rotation, first thing is first, you want to mark them. You don't necessarily have to. Your Arcane Shot and a couple things will put a mark on them as well as you do a rotation. So if you don't want to stop and mark in the middle of the fight, you don't have to, which is great. However, if you are just going to start out, there's no reason to gimp your first couple shots by not having Hunters mark up. Second is Serpent Sting. You should maintain this at all times. It's just a dot that keeps taking away damage. Every time you Cobra Shot, it'll renew that, so it shouldn't fall off as long as you're using Cobra Shot to build focus often enough. However, I have found with Thrill the Hunt active, sometimes I've got enough arcane shots stacked on each other that I'll lose Serpent Sting before I get back to Cobra Shot. Just something to be aware of if you're running what I am. Normally what I'll do to alleviate that is, even when I've got a bunch of arcane shots to go, I'll throw in a Cobra Shot every time I'm rotating through things before I come back to arcane shot. Not necessarily because I need the focus, but to help maintain that Serpent Sting. And Cobra Shot doesn't do bad damage, doesn't do great damage, but does do some damage. Cooldowns, I've of course got Murder of Crows. I've got Bestial Wrath, which is a Beast Mastery thing. Kill Command is your signature move. You should be hitting that whenever it's up. That's when your pet does a big bite, lots of damage. Comes up fairly often. Unless you're an engineer, you're not going to have this. That's my Synapse Springs for my gloves. You'll keep going. Now, when you're trying to maintain high DPS and you're fighting, you've got your big cooldowns, which is Steam Stampede, which pulls out a bunch of pets. And you've got Rapid Fire, which gives you basically a mini Bloodlust, Heroism, whatever you want to call it, whichever faction you're playing. You can pop that. Do not pop it on top of Bloodlust, though. They do not stack. You will not get the DPS boost from it if you're blasting it at the same time you're bloodlusting, heroism, time warping, whatever. Other thing to watch is your focus fire. As your pet fights, it will build up focus. When that hits 5, it'll start flashing and you hit it, and it's a minor damage increase. It's nice to have. If you can, and you see that getting close to 5, hold off on your Bestial Wrath for a second, because stacking the two does a little more damage, worth putting them together if you can pull it off. Now obviously your two things you're going to be doing when you're not clicking these as they come up, your Glaive Toss, your Bestial Wrath, you're going to be Cobra Shotting to build your focus back up when it's low. And you're going to be Arcane Shotting anytime you've got plenty of focus to burn off some of that. Now, Arcane Shot is going to do more damage than Cobra Shot at all times. However, try to keep your focus up above 30 or 40. Well, up above 40, because if Kill Command comes up and you don't have that 40 focus, you're basically wasting a cooldown while you build it back up so you can Kill Command, which is going to do more damage than your Arcane Shot or your, whatever. I'm awake. Other thing, 5.4.4 readiness is going away. They really haven't adjusted things on PTR yet. I was there this morning. But theoretically, Rapid Fire is going to get less of a cooldown. So there's a couple of other abilities that it resets to make up for that. I think they just wanted one less button for us to hit, which is kind of sad, because right now you can kind of go through all your cooldowns, put out a big bite of DPS, then you can flip around, hit readiness, reset all those, resets everything but Stampede, and then put out another big round of DPS, which, DPS is good. That's why you play a hunter, not a tank, because you want to kill things dead. Other things to be aware of is your kill shot. This is your under 20% execution phase ability. As soon as it starts popping up, you should hit it every time it's up. It does a big bite of damage. It is just beautiful. It's going to outperform anything else you hit people with pretty much. So if it's popping up, and obviously things are dying here real quick, so half the time I'm not even getting close to noticing it before it pops up. But it's your execute phase, burn down the boss move. Make sure you're hitting that if it's up, whenever it's up. You've also got your traps. This is something I didn't go over in my survival. You obviously have our favorite CC'er, which is the frost trap. You just freeze something in place, and he'll sit there until the trap falls off in about a minute. When you're raiding, sometimes you want to pop those up to help CC things. Not a bad thing to do. Then you can break them out at your convenience, or your cooldown on that is only 30 seconds. So let's say you're fighting someone, you freeze them, you go back, you're fighting them, they're still not dead, you can drop this under his feet again before your time's up, and it will refreeze him. And you're just resetting things, and you're not having to worry about that guy again. Once again, when leveling in that can be helpful as well. If you suddenly have a bunch of mobs, take one out of the equation. Other frost traps that people really like is your ice trap. This is very useful, especially when you're training some of the rare pets that have abilities, but being able to kite people is kind of a hunter's prerogative. Now, there are fights where you have to do it, so you'll distract shot, pull aggro off a tank, and if you drop the ice trap down in front of people, this guy's not going to do it. Let me call my pet back, see if he'll follow. Silent shot him, so you can see. Oh, come on, dude. Come on. You're going passive. I want this guy to do this. That'll see that white area, everything under it is slowed. He will now move at a slower pace. If you're kiting something, throw that down as often as possible. It slows them down, makes it easier for you to move around. Happiness ensues when you're not getting your face bit off. Pre-pull, you can use snake trap. Sometimes you can use it with AoE. It's not bad for there either. However, I don't use it as much. And of course I didn't set it off again. I am rocking right now, let me tell you. But you can also throw out your explosive shot. Be aware with your explosive shot that if you've got it glyphed, you're doing a knockback instead of damage. That is not good, and you will have tanks swearing and yelling at you all over the place, because quite frankly, there's nothing more annoying than trying to pick up a big group of aggro and then having someone blow everything all over the room and having you have to freaking run everywhere to pick it up. Not that I know this pain. Okay, I do know this pain. But, you know, you don't want to be the one being yelled at when the tank's like, hey, excuse me. I'm trying to do my job here and you're screwing me up. So, I'm going to try to pull these mobs here in a second. Oh, look, I pulled them anyway. There we go. I mean, throw a couple traps down, doing some extra AoE damage, then multi-shotting. So, that is pretty much how you do Beast Mastery Hunter, though. I mean, the biggest thing, whack-a-mole whenever your abilities are up. I will normally hold on to Rapid Fire and Stampede, though, if I'm getting close to a boss fight, because quite frankly, I always want those off at the beginning of the pull to give me some good burst DPS to start with. Plus, and the more you can use those in a boss fight, the more damage you're going to do. So, and since, you know, DPS kills bosses, it's just a nice thing to have. If you go into a boss fight and you just barely blew Rapid Fire and Stampede, chances are you're going to be using those 1 or 2 less times than you otherwise would in a boss fight. I mean, it's not a lot of DPS, but on those days when you're fighting and you'll the whole raid wipes and you look up and there's like 1% left on the boss, that could have been the difference. So, I mean, it's just good to keep those kind of things in mind. Other things you have, deterrence is a cooldown to mitigate damage if you're in trouble. Kind of mentioned disengage. You know, basically gives you some distance if you're in trouble. If you're face to face, just pop that and woo! Deterrence sucks though because you can't hurt anything while you have it cast. So, anyway, that is your guide to the Beast Mastery Hunter. Once again, this is Lazy Eye on Zangarmarsh server. I hope this is helpful, and if it's feel free to give me a thumbs up on that good old YouTube. I appreciate that. If you didn't find it helpful, please leave a comment and let me know why. I would love to be able to address any concerns or anything that I can fix. So, thank you very much. Bye.